Welcome to this great adventure of two sisters.
Absolutely not. Hey guys, welcome to the Regina Kids podcast. I am your host, Maxie.
With her lovely younger sister, Rita the Ham.
And here on the podcast, as you can see, sibling relationships can be loving and sometimes a bit
dramatic.
Affect me, please. Complicated. So, join us every week as we explore all aspects of having a sibling.
Come be our sibling.
Yeah, exactly. Hello. Welcome back to Regina Kids
Did you
podcast.
miss us?
I am your host, Maxie, and that is clearly my sibling.
Rita is here. I missed you guys. How was your week?
My week was well. I've been taking a self-care week, so I actually have been off for a whole week. I was supposed to. People tell me that I should be resting, like not doing anything. I don't know what that is
You don't know
exactly.
how to. The other day when you we was on FaceTime and you was attempting to lay on the couch and watch TV was hilarious. She looked so out of place and lost. Like, yeah, I'm doing nothing, but I'm trying to figure out how to do something.
Yeah. I've had a brand new couch for over 5 or 6 months now, and I rarely just sit around and lay on it, but maybe by the end of the week I'll get there. Um,
I love
it
taking. I can't wait to take a nap on your couch.
Absolutely not.
That's what a couch
Um,
for naps. You need to have a couch that you can have the option of taking a nap on.
I mean, it's a comfortable couch, but it's not for people to be laying around on my furniture. But if you're new, if you're new here, this is the Regina Kids podcast
Kids.
where we discuss everything from life to love to relationships to
Dramatic.
families, sibling. I can't even speak today. Sibling
Rival.
rivalries, etc., etc. Um, we just thank you guys for coming back each and every week and joining us and having a conversation. A sib note is basically an email to us at reginakidspodcast@gmail.com. You can tell us how you're liking the show. You can give us your opinion. You can give us your thoughts. Ask
We
us
want to
questions.
know.
All of the above. So,
Yeah. We got tough skin over here, baby.
so today's topic, um, the disclaimer is that me and my sibling have gone through similar, I could say, situations in regards to this topic,
Mm-hmm.
but we are, we definitely have two different feelings in regards to this, and we are definitely on two different sides of the fence when it
Facts.
comes to this topic.
It ain't even a fence, it's a highway. And she's going east and I'm going west.
um, I want to start off by saying that getting asked this question a lot
It's
um,
irritating as hell.
throughout um, my lifetime and throughout this journey that I'm having with this
And ain't none
is
of y'all damn business. Like, why you always ask
um,
a question?
I honestly think that I would just say this. The question is, and it kind of falls in line with, as you get older, people always ask, um, when you gonna get a boyfriend? Once you get a boyfriend, they want to know when are y'all getting married, and once y'all get married, is when y'all gonna have
I
some
have some
babies.
kids.
If you single, it's always you need to hurry up and get a man, or why you ain't you get to a certain age and people always say, why you ain't got no kids yet?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I hear a lot of people ask that question, and this is just my opinion and my disclaimer. Asking a woman why she does not have kids yet is rude. And the
It's
reason why I say it's rude is because you don't know the answer to the question. Um, it can be a variety of questions. I mean,
yeah,
it could be a variety of answers from I don't want kids, I haven't found anybody to have kids yet, to the most
a serious.
disturbing situations, which is the category in which I fall into, and I don't always like to have to explain that is um, I'm unable to have children. And for some people, they accepted that and they're fine with it. And that's the side of the fence that my sister sits on. Um, for other people, they never wanted to have kids, it didn't matter to them. In my situation, I sometimes get emotional about it because I wasn't on the fence of I never wanted to have kids. In my mind, I wanted to have a lot of kids. I was somewhere in the realm of always wanting to have 4, 5, 6 kids, maybe. A lot
Mhm.
of kids. I like the thought of having a big family, like having a family in a house full of a bunch of kids. Now, to a lot of people in this day and age, that sounded crazy, but when I was growing up, that was a thing. Um, People grew up with 10 and 12
Big
siblings and huge families. So, yeah.
exactly.
So to get into this conversation, we'll start with my sibling, and she could tell you about her journey as far as wanting kids or not, um, being able to have kids or not, and all of that. I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there that, like, um, some people don't get offended by when are you gonna get married? Why you ain't got a boyfriend? Or why you ain't got kids yet? Or you should have kids. I always got the you got childbearing hips comment. Like, okay, that's great and all, but you don't know my situation.
Right.
So I think it's kind of rude. Just FYI, that's
It's
just
hold
me.
on. First of all, it's not kind of rude. It's rude as hell. You know what I'm saying? Because they really don't know your backstory of why. You know what I mean? So people could be. You just don't know when you ask a woman that question exactly what stage in whatever process, whatever journey it is that they're going through in that direct moment. You know what I mean? So it's just rude. And it ain't none of your business.
Mm.
Unless they post about it or something, then free game.
So, Rita, in the rudeness of ways, why you ain't got no kids, girl?
I never wanted kids. Like, you know how like most um you could it's a nice majority of women who be like, having a baby and being a mother is the end all be all. You know what I'm saying? Like that's life for them. I was never that person. Never that person. Then what solidified it for me when I was 15 and I seen my niece being born and just that whole process, I was like, oh hell no. Oh no. I wasn't even having sex. And I was like, I need birth control. Cause a guy might blow on me and I will end up like that. No thank you. No ma'am. No, 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 ma'am. No.
So, because you never wanted kids, what is your thoughts now as far as that sounds like thoughts that you had as a younger
Yeah, it was,
woman. So now do you still feel the same way as far as like you don't want kids? Like you never
yeah,
want to
no, I
be
still mm-mm. Now don't give me no. Don't get me wrong, like I've had situations to where I would have been a mother. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had miscarriages before and things like that. On birth control, by the way.
Mm.
Now, just to let y'all know, where they say, "Oh, your birth control is 86.9%." Yeah, it is. You can still get pregnant on birth control, and I don't care what type of birth control they say it is. Oh, I got an IUD. It's a picture floating around here with the baby holding their mother's IUD.
Is that a real picture? Or is that somebody made up?
I don't know, but still, you can still get pregnant. You can still get pregnant with the IUD. You can still get pregnant with your 3 month shot. You can still get pregnant on the pill. You can still get pregnant with the one that they put in your arm, whether your IUD is copper or the regular plastic one, 3 years or 5 years. You can still get pregnant.
Hmm. That sounds like a lot.
It is. So, if the good Lord wants you to have a baby, guess what? That baby coming.
What is your reason for never wanting to have kids?
Um, I never really. It just wasn't like I. Honestly, it was when I was younger. A lot of my friends were getting pregnant when we were 16. You know what I'm saying? 16, 17. And it was just like, man, like, no, thank you. Like, and I was there. I helped change diapers, you know, um, the crying at night. Then also with my, when our older sister had our oldest niece, that kind of traumatized me as well because the whole. I tell this story all the time because my niece was born in the summer of 1999. It was hot as hell. We did not have air conditioning. And my sister was like, "Oh, I'm going to the store." I'm like, "How long you going to be?" Because I don't know what I'm doing. This not might be a good idea for you just to leave me with this brand new little fresh baby. Like, ma'am, you sure you know what you're doing? And she was like, "I'm just gonna go to the store real quick. I'll be back." She never came back. Oh my God, it was so hot. When my mom and Maxie came home, me and my niece both was laid out on the floor in front of the fan, chilling, because we was hot. Like, we was hot, and I was like, "We're dying, so we're gonna die together," because she just left me with this baby. Like,
Oh, child.
I tell her that story to this day. Like, that's just like an ongoing family joke. But I'm like, your daughter left. She ain't feed. She ain't leave us no food. Like, I'm starving. It's hot. She left me with this baby. We cool. I fed her. We good. I remember seeing some of the things, but
Mm-mm.
oh no. I just like having my freedom. You know what I mean? But don't get me wrong, because in the moment when I found out I was pregnant and things like that, like, your motherly instinct kicks in. It's like, it's not about me anymore. It's about my child. Let me put these things in place. And you know what I'm saying? All of that other stuff. So, but then also the aspect of miscarriage, that is a very hard thing to overcome as well. So with that, I was just like, nah, I'm good.
Um, I know there's a lot of women out there that have miscarriages and things like that. What do you feel makes it, outside of the emotional part of losing a child? Like, what what was hard for you in that sense when that happened to you?
for me, it was the whole process. Like you're attached. You see your baby heart beating. You like mentally preparing yourself to be a mom. You're thinking about names. You're thinking about, oh, what is my baby gonna look like and all of that. But also on top of that, for me, my miscarriage was horrible. Like the pain, because like what happened was is that I went to the emergency room. I was just like, I wasn't like super like bleeding or anything like that, but it was it was a it was a light bleeding, and you just know something isn't right. You know what I'm saying? Because you know your body. So we go. They tell me that you know that we lost a child. I'm like, so you're trying to like, nah, you're trying to mentally kind of prepare for that or whatever. I mean, everything is so quick because it's like they give you the information, you're trying to process it. Then it's like, okay, now we got to set you up for this. Go see your doctor in the morning and go from there. So this for me happened on a Wednesday. They didn't schedule my procedure for my miscarriage until like early Friday. So I had to make it from Wednesday all the way to Friday. Like, and then my body hadn't really registered yet that it was going through a miscarriage. Like my cervix wouldn't open, the baby wouldn't pass on its own, none of that. So you just go on thinking things are normal. You know what I mean? Then Thursday comes and you are in full blown fallout pain, right? This is just my experience. Everybody's experience is different. So you're in full blown fallout pain. Like you think of cramps, no. So my mom take me again to the emergency room. I'm like, I'm in so much pain. I don't know what's going on. They gave me like a morphine drip that kind of eased the pain, but you can still just feel all that pressure. And they're just like, well, there's nothing that we can do because your cervix isn't opening. And I was about 12 weeks or so along at that time. My cervix wasn't opening, so it's kind of like you're going through like a labor process. So from start, and they just doped me up and sent me home because they couldn't get me in to do the procedure that next until that following morning. So I get home and it's just from Thursday afternoon all the way until the time of the procedure which was at 5 o'clock in the morning. Was it? It was like it was early in the morning when I had to be there. I'm in horrible pain. Nothing is working. Like having my sister push into my back, rolling around on the floor. It's just horrible. It's just in horrible pain. So from with that experience and just trying to cope and heal from that, I was just like, oh no, I'm not doing that either.
Hmm. Well, prayers out to anybody who's ever lost a child, been through miscarriages, just in general had to deal with that type of situation because um, it just my heart breaks for you guys, and
Yeah, I mean your
it's
body.
just
Then you now your the point of your body being feeling all beat up that will heal. You know what I'm saying? That pain does go away. But like you're having a broken heart and just mentally, because then your hormones is all over the place. Like getting through all of that is is something else.
I appreciate you being open to sharing your journey as far as miscarriages goes. I know that's difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah,
Um,
it's good to be open in that aspect. And a lot of times you'll be like you don't understand why you end up going through something, but you know what, like maybe I would say a couple years after that, one of my really close friends ended up having a miscarriage, and I was able to, comfort her and let her know that I understand what she was going through, what things she could expect from that standpoint from there. So sometimes we go through storms, but it end up being a blessing for somebody else.
This is true. So, even with going through that process, you just still didn't want any kids. Like
No.
after you didn't want to try again, you just not your jam, not for you, huh?
Mm-mm. No. That even I got caught up. But before getting caught up, no, it was nothing that I would willingly do on purpose.
All right then. So, to touch, like I said, we are on two different total fences when it comes to that. Like, she never wanted kids. That just wasn't her jam, you know. Um, I've heard her plenty of times when people ask her, "Why you ain't got no kids yet?" Because I don't want none. Like, you know, she just this has always been her answer.
Yeah, but I think
Um,
the worst, like the most disrespectful version of that question that I ever got came from men.
really.
Yeah, because most of the time you'll get it from like some older women. They be like, "Oh, or you get it from your grandparents, like, oh, I can't wait for you to bring me a grandbaby or something like that or whatever," or they just be asking or whatever. Like, but it doesn't be like an ignorant ass purposely ignorant. Because I remember when I was, and it was all, I don't know why it was happening, but when I was 33 out here in these streets, right? And
Okay, we know you was in the streets.
right, but I would get, how old are you? I'm like 33, and you ain't got no kids. No. Oh, that dude must not been fucking you good enough. What? Like, really?
Okay, I've never had that happen to me,
Ignorant
but
as hell. But at first I thought it was just a one-off. No, I had a couple of like 3 or 4 guys say that, like, not in the exact words, but in somewhat of that kind of version. And I was just like, are y'all just dumb as hell? Don't you know, like, women have choices? Or maybe I just don't want no fucking kids. Like, what?
yeah, again, the question in itself, in my opinion, is just rude.
Yeah, that was ignorant.
So my situation is it's a little bit different. Um, all my life I've been anemic, and to this day I still go to specialists to try to figure out why that is. Over the last couple of years, the women in my family have we've sat down and had conversations about different things in regards to being anemic, because a lot of us in my family are.
Yeah.
Most of the women over the age of 40 have some type of hysterectomy, either full, partial. They now do uterine ablation, so something in that effect. Most of it is due to the younger women in my family. They struggle with the same thing I struggle with during my teenage years, with having super heavy periods, PCOS, um, polycystic ovary syndrome. They deal with fibroids and polyps and
Mm-hmm.
all of these different situations that happen to a lot of women nowadays. For me, um, all my life, I've always been anemic, and I've always had super heavy periods. And as I got older, people tell you everything. And for me, it was a process of finding the right doctors to help me, because I know with a lot of Black women, they don't treat us correctly when it comes to different things that go on with us in the medical field.
Oh
They
yeah.
automatically assume that, we're super strong and we could deal with a lot of pain, or we're not really in pain, or we're
Mm.
making up stories. And my suggestion is find you a doctor that's going to listen and that will try everything to help you. I had a doctor at one point in time during my teenage years that basically was like, "Oh, you're anemic. Take iron pills. Oh, you have heavy periods where it's blood clots. We're just gonna put you on a birth control." And what happened for me, they put me on a regular pill, birth control, and I bled for 9 weeks straight. Even after, first, yeah, I thought it was just a regular period, and I always had a full week period. So after the week, I'm calling my doctor and calling my doctor like, um, yeah, I'm taking this birth control, and it did nothing for my period, and now it's 2 weeks in, and I'm still on my period. Oh, you got to take one in the morning and one at night. Then they wanted to subscribe me to take two different types of birth control. And throughout this whole week, again, I'm anemic and I'm having a heavy period for 9 straight weeks. It got to the point where I ended up stop taking the birth control because it was so bad that um, I was to the point where I was passing out and close to needing a blood transfusion. I was bleeding through
Dang.
pads in 30 minutes to an hour, and it was a horrible experience, all because I had a doctor that was not listening to me. um I ended up getting a new doctor, and I found out that I had um uterine endometriosis, I had fibroids, I had polyps, I you name it, I had it, and it was horrible for me during that time. And it was um to the point where I had to have multiple uterine surgeries. I had to have fibroids removed, and it got to a point where it was basically life or death for me.
Mm.
So I was bleeding so much and being so anemic, I wasn't able to, my periods were so bad that I wasn't able to build my blood back up, and I was thin. So normally, um you're supposed to have like 13 pints of blood in your body. I
Right.
was floating somewhere around 6.5,
Hmm.
and I was constantly bleeding, constant. And a lot of people don't tell you, like with the fibroids, the blood is what's feeding them and making them big. And even after getting them removed, they would grow back. And it was a situation where it was like, um, they're already telling me that I would be unable to have kids, but now I'm at the point where I have to have a uterine surgery to stop me from bleeding, because I was passing out while I was driving. I was bleeding through my clothes. It was horrible. And at a point in time, I put off the surgery because for me, I love kids. Like, um, you bring a baby around me, and I don't know, my little
She gonna
heart
steal
just
it. She gonna steal the baby from you.
my little heart is just jumping out my body. Like, I just want to be around the kids. I just want to teach them stuff. I want to buy them stuff. I want to take them places. I just love the kids. I just want them to feel loved. At one point, I wanted to run a daycare. Um, I was gonna be a kindergarten teacher. Like, I just want to be around the kids. I just love the kids. Like, it's to the point now I have 3 nieces and 5 godkids, and like I put my heart and soul into making sure those kids. I mean, they not babies no more.
Yeah.
Um,
Our last one just turned 13.
so it's like it got to the point where when I was told I couldn't have kids, the kids around me, I poured my heart into them and making sure that they was loved and that if it was something that it wasn't even to the point where it was something they needed, it was just stuff they wanted. I'm doing whatever I could do to give it to them because
She did. She still
that's
do.
just how much um the need for me to want to have a child. And again, I wanted a house full of kids. I wanted 5 or 6 was there, but I had to choose to still be here over um being able to be a mom, and that was something that I wanted. Like, so that's why for me, when people ask that question, I ain't got no kids yet, you need to go and have you a baby. I mean, because people will see that I'll spoil my nieces to death or spoil my god kids to death, and I'm putting up 4 Christmas trees a year, one at my house, one at my god kid's house, one at my sister's house, and then I'm trying to find other places for us to go to decorate Christmas trees. You know, um,
Her favorite time of the year.
I'm excited about them going back to school. I'm like, let's do book bags and let's, pick out our favorite folders. I'm doing all of that stuff because
Mm.
um I just love kids. I just think that it's a blessing to have them. I think that just watching them grow up and watching people pour into them, I think that's a beautiful thing. So it was a big deal for me. So when people ask that question and be rude, it kind of, it hurts a little bit because it's like you don't know like if I could, I'll have me a school bus full. You know what I'm saying? So um I just think that people should be considerate when asking women certain questions because you never know. We all have a story. Some of us just aren't as open to telling our stories.
Right.
So you just have to be careful with that.
Most definitely. And then I know it came to a point to where um they'll ask me why don't I don't have kids. I was like, because there's no I was such a jerk. I was just like, when you look at your financial portfolio, it just doesn't seem like a good sound investment. And they'd be like, what the hell kind of answer is that? And my thing is like, if you're gonna be ignorant enough to come up to me and ask me why I ain't got no kids, or that this guy ain't humping me, or whoever humping me ain't humping me good enough to have a baby. No, it's not that. It's just not a good sound financial investment. You gonna stay in the red.
That's your own personal opinion,
True.
but so what would be your sib note of the day, Rita, in regards to why you don't got kids, girl?
Um, my sib note is that I'm trying not to be sound like a honestly, I just never that just wasn't my jam. Like I just did not mm-mm, I just did not want them.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's a lot of women out here that feel the same as you. They
Yeah.
just,
But also too, I mean, but don't get me wrong, like being in a parental space or whatever is a very beautiful thing. Because just because I didn't have any children doesn't mean I never was a bonus parent. You know what I mean? So, like, having that experience is a beautiful thing too. It's still other ways if you are a woman and you're not able to have children, if it's really in your heart to do, adopt. You know what I mean? Like, don't give up on, that's my sub note. Don't give up on your dream of being a parent. And I even tell my sister this all the time. If she still want to be a parent, go on and adopt you a little baby.
Little baby.
The little baby. Yeah. Go ahead and adopt you a little baby. Like, that's your dream. There's still love. There's still children out here that will most definitely just suck up all the love that you want to give, and knowledge and experience, and all of that. Whether you a bonus parent, you get you a surrogate, or um you get you some step kids, you know what I mean? Like,
Just
you
going.
adopt you be a fine ass step mama, you know what I'm saying? Or you going to
That's
adopt
your
a little
goal in life, right there.
baby. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Ain't no judgment here. This is a no judge free zone.
Do whatever it is in your power to make that dream happen for you. Whatever it takes. If that's your dream, do it.
On that note, drop us a sib note at Regina Kids Podcast at gmail.com. I'd like to hear your thoughts regarding um, having kids, being around kids, just, kids in general. I know these kids are, people always say, oh, these kids are different, but I'm sure
Think
when you
about
were growing,
them,
what?
them, them baby boomers said the same thing about us. The millennials, what is it? Gen Z, Gen Zs, I think they call. Yeah. I
Either
don't even know
way,
which one I am.
I don't know. That's something you're gonna have to ask Google. um, yeah, but thank you again for joining us on another episode of Regina's Kids. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all podcast apps. Leave us a 5-star on Apple Podcasts. Um, we want to hear your questions, comments.
Star chick.
Yeah, we enjoy it all. Again, if you want to drop us a sib note or want us to answer one of your questions on the podcast, or you got questions for us or anything like that, Regina Kids Podcast at gmail.com. And as always, continue to glow through whatever it is you're going through.
Bye, guys.